Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more...
What I saw, what it looked to me like he was negotiating with a deaf prostitute.
Picture this. Mel Gibson strides in looking like he just stepped out of a Mad Max audition, the governor's edition. Meanwhile, poor Gavin Newsom becomes the uninvited centerpiece of a roast, relentlessly pursued by Tyrus, who appears fresh from a WWE SmackDown. And he isn't the only one calling him out. Others piled on as well, essentially delivering a Dear John letter of epic proportions. Brace yourself. Politics has never been quite like this. It's Hollywood chaos colliding head-on with a hard dose of reality.
And I asked my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded.
You know you don't want to miss this, so before we dive in, hit the like button and subscribe. Sitting quietly in the corner has never been Mel Gibson's style. No, he bursts in, slams doors, flips tables, declares the tea is poisoned, and glares straight into your soul. And don't expect priests, swords, or war paint in his latest cinematic chaos. That honor goes to the real-life Gavin Newsom walking shampoo commercial.
Okay. Yes! He literally goes, I want some of this, then you do some of this, and I'll do some of that back to you, and then we'll do this, and then I'll pay you, and then we'll do it again.
True.
And then she kept saying, no. Okay, how about this? You do this one first, then we do this one, then we give a little back and forth.
Indeed, California's governor, looking as if he were sculpted from marble by an artist, armed only with smugness and hair gel, is now caught in a plot even Hollywood couldn't have scripted. He has opinions, but his presence is as immovable as a refrigerator, the kind of guy who could sit on a chair and fold it in half. If Gibson is the chaos grenade, Tyrus is the anvil. Together, they form a tag team that doesn't just critique Newsom, they turn him into the supporting character in their own political soap opera. When your most relentless critics aren't fellow politicians, but a Hollywood legend and a former professional wrestler turned pundit, someone who seems impervious to nonsense, you know you've made a misstep.
Without anything, I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, you can't, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morris.
Newsom is in the hot seat, but why? It's simple. He runs California like an overpriced theme park full of locked gates and malfunctioning rides, yet the parking still costs $50. Meanwhile, he's busy polishing his smile like it's a trophy instead of actually addressing the problems. Tyrus and Mel, clearly fed up with this carnival, didn't just cast shadows, they created a total eclipse.
Gavin Newsom and LA Mayor Karen Bass, well, they were also suggesting that LA was under control. They had it covered while, of course, LA was essentially burning. And they've been blaming Donald Trump for all the chaos in LA, while Gavin Newsom has been trying to emerge as the strong leader of the Democrats as he eyes off the presidency in 3 years' time. But actor Mel Gibson has spoken out, blasting the governor and the mayor, rightfully so, for their disastrous leadership.
Mel Gibson brings a perspective like no other. Decades in Hollywood have shown him how easily charlatans exploit sincerity to get ahead. Nothing feels more fake than Newsom trying to present himself as the crown prince of progressive politics, while his state resembles the set of a dystopian Netflix film. I've played villains less cartoonish than this guy, Gibson must be thinking. Meanwhile, Tyrus tears through Newsom like a corrosive freight train, while Gibson strikes with surgical precision. But this isn't just about political missteps, it's about the bigger picture. All day, Newsom, with hair as slick as an oil spill, parades around like a future presidential contender, practicing his solemn leader persona in the mirror as if auditioning for a soap opera. Meanwhile, California has become a place where deodorant is locked in glass cases at drugstores, and Starbucks competes for prime spots next to tent encampments. Gotham without Batman has nothing on this chaos, and now Mel Gibson has finally had enough.
Yeah, that.
He's negotiating with the deaf prostitute.
Yeah,
Let's just stick with that.
Yeah.
more likely.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people have been coming out and calling out, Gavin Newsom endlessly, and the biggest one of all is Mel Gibson. We all know that he is a very big, open critic of Gavin Newsom, and he continues to actually do that, and rightfully so, because we already know that there's a lot of issues going on right now within the state of
Picture this. Gibson zeroes in on the issue and Tyrus flashes a mischievous grin saying, "Yeah, we see you." Newsom stands there like a prom king who's just lost his crown. But it's not just being called out that stings, it's the way they do it, turning the critique into the roast of the century. You know your political strategy has officially entered meme territory when two people from entirely different worlds, Hollywood legend and wrestling powerhouse, team up to mock you. California itself has become the political equivalent of a road full of potholes, unpleasant to navigate, expensive to fix, and largely ignored by the person responsible. The best part? Mel Gibson isn't holding back. His jabs aren't subtle. They're as grand and theatrical as a blockbuster movie. Tyrus backs him up, nodding along and punctuating with his own humorous body slams. Together, they do more than just challenge Newsom. They deliver a glare so intense it could eclipse Hollywood's red carpets. The irony is delicious. Newsom, who has long chased the spotlight with his flawless grin and clever quips, suddenly finds himself outshone in the very arena he always dreamed of dominating.
Lost his house in these wildfires. And what you just saw there was an effort to recall the governor and Mayor Bass. Does his star power in this matter?
It matters in the sense we're playing it now on national television on a highly rated Fox and Friends first show, and that has gone viral on social media. And meanwhile, the same day that Mel Gibson says what he says there, and he's correct on so many things as far as the management of wildfires, Gavin Newsom's approval on the handling of the wildfires is only 30%.
In their roast special, Tyrus and Gibson cast Newsom as the antagonist, but not a Darth Vader level villain, more like a Scooby-Doo character. Take off the mask and it's just a politician scamming the community. The sting? Newsom thought he was auditioning for the presidency. In reality, he became the comic relief in someone else's show. Pretending otherwise is one of the few skills Newsom has mastered better than mismanaging California. He parades around like the lead in a political Netflix drama, but instead of intrigue and competence, the camera catches him fussing with his hair while potholes multiply like spring rabbits. Even Gibson might say, "Nope, that's too much." Newsom has officially entered the realm of parody. At that point, Tyrus unleashes a verbal elbow from the top rope. No fancy terms needed. He calls it a hair gel catastrophe. Newsom's persona, built on avoiding problems and polished appearances, practically radiates nonsense. Watching him under Tyrus's critique is like seeing a pit bull go after a politician-shaped chew toy. The sound of dignity tearing and plastic creaking with no hesitation and no mercy.
Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending. I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
Ew.
And then, look, he's blinking. And then eventually, the camera guy realizing that he's signaling him, so he gets appalled, leans back, camera comes down, and then we're back to this. I'll do this for you. You do this for me a little. So he's saying whatever he's going to say. There it is. See? They couldn't hold him back. He's like, I'm not on film. Oh, I'm not. Nope.
Newsom probably thought he'd be unbeatable in this arena, which makes the whole situation even more amusing. Politicians usually expect their competition to be other politicians, rival mayors, governors, or maybe a late-night host cracking a joke. But Tyrus and Gibson bring a completely different level of challenge. Gibson delivers his critique with all the subtlety of a car chase explosion, while Tyrus emphasizes that this isn't just about California. It's absurd for a man to act presidential when his own state resembles a survival reality show with no winners. California, once called the land of dreams, has become under Newsom a theme park attraction known as the collapse. The beaches, the glamour, the movies, all part of the spectacle. Homeless? Admission is free, otherwise it's prohibitively expensive. The only ride still running? The one out of the state. Having spent decades in Hollywood, Gibson knows the difference between a blockbuster and a flop, making this roast both painfully accurate and hilarious. California isn't even DVD quality yet, it's a compilation of YouTube errors. The tag team roast is elevated by Gibson's sheer intensity, as if he might leap onto the 405 with a sword in hand. Newsom practically hands it to them. Low crime rates, rising rents, rolling blackouts, all wrapped in the illusion of safety. California is failing, yet Newsom's flawless hair remains intact. Tyrus lands the final blow, pointing out the obvious, and Gibson can't help but laugh at the sheer conceit. Bad leadership isn't hidden by perfect hair. It only makes the collapse look prettier. You can almost see it. Newsom meticulously running his fingers through each strand as he watches videos of Tyrus and Gibson shredding him backstage.
Well, speaking of full of I'm sorry, I'm confused. He's still governor, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he could do something about it. That's the most irritating thing, is like, why did anyone say with a follow-up where he's like, the homeless situation is ridiculous? Follow-up question, aren't you the governor?
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference. That's the difference between the radical left and President Trump. He'll talk about something as it...
Because after you've been reduced to a punchline, all that's left is the illusion of control. In Newsom's case, that illusion comes wrapped in a gleaming, blow-dried package. The spectacle is mesmerizing precisely because it exposes him for what he is, a man who prioritizes appearance over substance. From afar, he looks like a luxurious designer handbag, elegant on the surface, but fragile the moment it's put to use. He's survived controversies before, lockdown dinner gatherings, policy failures ignored, endless TED-style lectures for fact-averse audiences. But when Mel Gibson, a man known for legendary outbursts in Hollywood, decides to make you his target, the illusion crumbles. Tyrus backs him up with biting sarcasm, and suddenly Newsom's carefully curated image begins to resemble a flimsy stage prop. The brilliance lies in the timing. Gibson and Tyrus deliver a reality check so sharp, it transforms Newsom's presidential audition into a blooper reel. While he was polishing his ambitions and preparing for the big stage, he instead stumbles around as the butt of the joke, left to wonder how two unexpected critics managed to dismantle the one thing he values most, his image.
How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded upon and promises to offer. That's all.
And the humiliation shows no sign of stopping. Tyrus and Gibson weren't the only ones mocking Newsom. They orchestrated a masterclass in dismantling his myth. They proved that long debates and intricate policy arguments aren't required. All you need is a sharp tongue, a keen sense of humor, and the courage to voice what everyone else is thinking. It's not just the emperor's bare chest on display. He's grinning, perfectly coiffed, sporting expensive hair gel, and now the world sees it. What he perceives as confidence comes across as delusion amplified. Gibson doesn't even need to try. His Hollywood experience tells him immediately when someone is performing a script they didn't write. Reports even claim that a group of marketing interns created Newsom's entire campaign image, reasoning that the American public's main concern was whether the governor's smile could withstand a Category 5 storm. Gibson finds this so shallow, it's almost laughable. Even action films on DVD have more depth. Tyrus, on the other hand, treats Newsom's presidential aspirations as a complete farce. He doesn't just critique them, he drives them into the ground and then stands atop the wreckage, flexing for emphasis. Together, Gibson and Tyrus demonstrate that when substance is absent, exposure and wit alone are enough to reduce a carefully curated image to rubble.
He's playing with us. Meet me at my house. You get mine. I get yours. It'll work out.
Paul, are they capable of soul searching? It feels like the party itself has no soul.
Yeah, I know, they have no soul. You know, it's a really interesting statement if you just kind of, you can break it in two. He spends the whole first part of that saying, we lost because this. Essentially what he says is, folks, we were on the wrong side of every issue last.
According to Newsom, running the nation would be like letting the person who broke the golf cart pilot a space shuttle. For a brief moment, it might seem entertaining, but soon enough, you're bracing for disaster. His career reads like a highlight reel of California's most catastrophic failures. Homelessness is spiraling, yet what stands out most is Newsom's response to criticism. Rather than address problems, he simply assumes, I'm polished, so I must be right. It's like watching a toddler sprinkle glitter on their name to pass a spelling test. Enter Mel Gibson, whose experience battling chaos both on and off screen allows him to slice through that facade effortlessly. Tyrus calls it what it is, a very bad act. Before the second commercial break, even contestants on America's Got Talent would mock such a performance. Imagine Newsom trying this routine at a presidential debate. Seasoned political fighters on one side, him rehearsing his smirk in the mirror, hoping the lighting makes it look authentic. Gibson would liken it to casting a supporting actor against the lead in an action movie. Tyrus points out that the disparity is so glaring it borders on comedy. Timing couldn't be worse for Newsom. As he performs his shake and smile routine in swing states, presenting it as mere experimentation, he meticulously crafts his public image, only to have it torn apart by Tyrus's deadpan smackdowns and Gibson's relentless delivery. For a man hoping to appear presidential, it's a nightmare. For content creators, it's a goldmine. Newsom can't defend himself, engage with them, and he loses. Ignore them, and the roast lingers. Either way, he's trapped, encircled in a perfect comedic chokehold by two critics who know exactly how to dismantle him.